Shalom. All praises to Yahawah BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA QADASH. Double honors to the elders and apostles who rule well and teach well, and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered among the four corners of the earth. I wanted to go into more figurative symbolism of the sun, moon, and stars being darkened in this particular installment or lesson. It's going to be focused more so on that dark day, the day of the Lord. Okay? All right. In the first verse I want to read is associated with the sun, moon, and stars, okay? And their light. Just to go and show you that the sun, moon, and stars will never, ever literally be darkened, okay? All right, so this is Jeremiah 31, starting at 35. And just to give more context, this is when the prophecy of the Most High, Yahawah BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, putting the laws in the inward parts of the Israelites so they'll never, go off again. This is speaking on the new covenant. All right, and he's speaking on not casting Israel off forever, right? Or departing from him to be a nation, from being a nation. All right, so this is Jeremiah 31, verse 35. It says, "Thus saith Yahawah, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divided the sea when the waves thereof roar. Yahawah of hosts is his name." It says, "If those ordinances depart from me, from before me, saith Yahawah, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever." All right, forever. And when Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI says something, his words do not go out void. All right. So the Most High, since Genesis, the beginning, right? The sun, moon, and stars were set up as a light for the earth in the heavens. All right, and these are perpetual decrees. So these lights, they will never, what it's saying in this verse, they will never ever go away. Just like the seed of Israel, they'll never not be a nation of Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, okay? So basically it's saying that the lights in the heavens, they are meant to shine forever, okay? Just like Israel, they're gonna shine forever when those laws are written on their inward parts. Okay, so now let's move on. Now that we know that Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI said those lights, the sun, the moon, and the stars, they'll never stop shining. Now when we read other scriptures in the book associated with the sun, moon, and stars being darkened, then we know that there has to be some type of metaphor, okay? And we're gonna find out, what is it a metaphor for? Or what is it figurative for? All right, so let's go to Joel chapter 3. And we're gonna start at verse 13. Peep the heading. It says the nations will be judged. All right, so this is verse 13. Starting at verse 13, it says, "Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great." So wickedness has reached to the heavens, right? And that's also another symbol of how the wicked are ruling and they're in a high estate. They're in rulership. All right, that's how wickedness is great. even in Babylon the Great. All right, it says multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. That is the valley of YAHAWASHI. The valley of judgment, of decision is over there, and it's in a physical, geographical area that is in Israel today. All right, so this is where Armageddon is going to be established. All right, verse 15, it says, the sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Okay, so now that we know, based on Jeremiah 31, right, the ordinances of the sun, moon, and stars will not depart. They were set up as a perpetual establishment to shine forever. All right, they were established as a perpetual decree to shine forever. So the sun and moon and the stars being darkening and withdrawing their shining is speaking about a day of harsh judgment and hopelessness, right? And the judgment of the judgment of the wicked is associated with the day of the Lord and how dark it is. So this is compared to the darkness to a sky with no illumination. All right, so it's a dark day. Let's go to Matthew 13. No, matter of fact, Mark. Mark 13, verse 24. This is during the return of Hamashiach. It says, but in those days after that tribulation, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light. Okay, so that day is going to be so dark, it's going to be hard to find faith on the earth, which will be like a light in a dark tunnel, right? So the dark day is associated with tribulation, right? So this is figurative for tribulation. All right, it's going to be so dark and full of despair and hopelessness. Otherwise, Yahawashi wouldn't have asked the question, and shall there be faith on the earth? All right, because look, as you can see, this is the return of a Mashiach, and of course, he's not going to come back as a man. He's coming back as, in his glorified state. All right, let's go to Luke. This is Luke 18 and 8. Speaking on the return, It says, I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? All right, so like I said, darkness is associated with hopelessness. That's how dark it's going to be, to the point where it doesn't feel like there's any hope. There's people who might just fall out. Okay, that's why it's important to have this wisdom and this knowledge, because it's going to be the stability of those times where you're going to be able to stand and have that solid foundation. That wisdom and knowledge is associated with the light, the truth, knowing the end, knowing what to expect, and enduring all of the, of course you're going to have faith, and you're going to have to call out to the name of Yahawah BAHASHAM Awashah, but that's how dark it's going to be. All right, so let's go to Job 3, because Job, he talks poetically about the day he was born, how dark it should be. Job was going through a lot, right? Job was going through a period of darkness, we could say hopelessness, despair, right? So this is Job 3, starting at verse 4. It says, let that day be darkness. Let not God regard it from above, neither let the light shine upon it. All right. It says, let darkness and the shadow of death stain it, and let a cloud dwell upon it. Let the blackness of the day terrify it. As for the night, for that night, let darkness seize upon it. Let it not be joined unto the days of the year. Let it not come into the number of the months. All right, now he's talking about when he was born. It says, lo, let that night be solitary. Let no joyful voice come therein. Let them curse in that curse the day. Let them curse it that curse the day, who are ready to raise up their mourning. Let the stars of the twilight therefore be dark. Let it look for light, but have none, neither let it see the dawning of the day. All right, so like I said, this is Job's poetic way of saying, basically, curse the day that he was born. All right, that's how, in a mournful state, in a lower state that he was, that he just wished, he might as well not have been born, or, to curse the day he was born, because he was going through all of the tribulation, right? He uses figurative language and compares the dark day to be with no light shining from the heavens, all right? So the stars being darkened is associated with the shadow of death, terrifying, no joy, mourning, hopeless, and unfortunate, filled with dark energy. And this is contrary to a light and glorious day in which is more prosperous with good fortune. When you see the sun and you go outside and you automatically have a spirit on you it's the spirit to say it's going to be a good day. When people wake up in the morning and they see this raining and it's dark clouds and it's just real dark, maybe it's foggy, it's an overcast, they have a spirit on them that say, I don't know how today is going to go. It's not associated with a good day, right? So, as opposed to the light emanating from the sun and moon and stars, matter of fact, let me go to Isaiah. All right, so let's start in Isaiah 29, verse 18. It says, in that day shall the deaf hear the words of the book, and the eyes of the blind see out of obscurity and out of darkness. All right. So in this sense, being in obscurity and in darkness is associated with ignorance and a lack of enlightenment. Being in the dark about something makes you incognizant, and having a great light source such as the sun and moon and stars gives great illumination, which is that understanding, that counsel, and that knowledge. So coming back to that light means that the deaf and the blind of the elect will finally see and understand the dark speeches and the mysteries of the book, because all of those are hidden. It's in the dark, and you need the light to see it, okay? So in this sense, coming out of darkness, this is talking about when the Most High, he activates, the spirits of the elect in the last days to come out of darkness, and to finally be able to understand what these books are, just like, what these words mean, what these scriptures actually are talking about. This is the light dawning on them, on the elect. All right. So me being able to shed light, and if you're able to understand it, then this prophecy is being fulfilled, right? And in no other time period except in the past maybe 30, 40 years has people been able to bring out scriptures in this form of understanding. All all right, where it can actually resonate, especially in a Christian faith, in those churches. They don't bring out scriptures like this to give a better understanding. All right, but let's continue on. We're talking about that dark day. All right, I kind of did like a sidetrack real quick, but let's continue on. Isaiah chapter 5 in verse 30. All right, this is Isaiah 5 and 30. It says, and in that day they shall roar against them like the roaring of the sea. And if one look into the land, behold, darkness and sorrow, and the light is darkened in the heavens thereof. Okay, so the light is speaking about the light in the heavens, meaning the sun, moon, and stars. Okay, but it's talking about figuratively that darkness is mourning and hopelessness, and the land is devastated and unfruitful. So it's a dark countenance on that place, that land. You know, you may look into a land that is barren and laid waste, such as like a low-income areas in major cities with thorns and unkempt landscaping, right? You look at that land, oh, it's dark. It's a dark energy on that land, because it's nobody, it's carelessness, hopelessness, because nobody's keeping up with that land. Therefore, you got the thorns and the thistles, and you know, and that also represents degeneracy, right? Remember, there's a scripture that talks about how a noble vine was planted, but how did it become degenerate, right? It's dealing with carelessness, okay? And that noble vine, that's the Israelites. You know, he planted the Israelites, you know, in the land, the promised land. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on to Joel. Let's go back to Joel. Joel is a heavy book, you know, on the day of the Lord. It says the terrible visitation. All right. Verse 1, it says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahawah cometh, for it is nigh at hand. It says, a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong. There hath not been ever like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. So there's a day, right, like never, ever, ever in the history of mankind has happened, that's going to come on the earth. All right, this is a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness. That's an intense darkness. All right, and if we I'm about to read the definition of a dark cloud. All right, it's an idiom. It's used, people use it, you know, often, right? But basically, it's a situation or future event that causes worry, problems, or unhappiness. So that's what a dark cloud is associated with. That dark overcast of gloominess is insinuating the lack of mirth, which is like the lack of sunlight, right? And even the moonlight, even to the stars, lack the light to brighten up someone's day, right? When you brighten up someone's day, that means you're making them happy. But you know, if there's no sunlight, no moon or starlight, right, then it's just darkness, nothing but dark energy. You know, as the earth gets more wicked and the end draw closer, The love of many is going to waxing cold. As we speak today, the love of many is waxing cold. And this indicates a dark time where no warm light is shining, as opposed to a warm, sunny, fair day where people enjoy being outside, right? So that darkness is associated with with cold. You know, think of a cold room, or really just a cold day. It's just really just that lack of sunlight, right? The sun is not shining that hard. It's not close enough to give that light, that warm light, right? So waxing cold, the love of many waxing cold, and people are gonna be going crazy. They're gonna go psycho. Okay. All right, let's go to Amos. All right, this is Amos 5 and verse 18. It says, "Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light." All right. As if a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him. Shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it? All right, so Amos is driving home the point. He's speaking, driving home the point that the day of the Lord is so dark, meaning that the energy, right, it's going to be spirits just released on the earth, all that the dark, unclean spirits released on the earth, nothing but evil, right? A day that's like never before. All right. And let's go to Zephaniah to see further, because this day, the day of the Lord, has been prophesied through many prophets. All right. See, look, the day of judgment on Judah. This is Zephaniah 1 and 15. It says, that day, matter of fact, I'm going to start at 14. It says, the great day of the Lord is near. It is near and hasteth greatly, even the voice of the day of the Lord. The mighty man shall cry there bitterly, right? So you even going to have the toughest, roughest men, the mightiest of men crying, right? Trying to get mercy. They're going to be as women, holding their bowels, like as if they were pregnant, like they had pain, birth pains. It says that day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. Right? So it keep going more and more descriptive on how dark and gloomy the day of the Lord is. And it's associated with wrath, trouble, distress, destruction, and desolation. The darkest of energy will be in that time period of tribulation, and no other time like it. It will literally, it's not going to be a literal 24 hours like a day, because a day is different, like as far as time period, like a time period to the Lord, right? But this going to be a indefinite time period. All right, leading up to the kingdom of heaven being established on the earth. But we know once this day comes, it's subsequently, or I think that's the right word. Well, basically, after this day, there's going to be the kingdom of heaven established on the earth. All right, so it's going to be a lot of dark energy, a lot of evil times, right? But then, eventually the light. So wisdom and knowledge is going to have to be your stability. Your money is not going to save you. Your guns is not going to save you. Your Martial arts is not gonna save you. The police is not gonna save you. You know, you're gonna have the wisdom and knowledge to stabilize you, and you're gonna have to need, you know, Yahawah BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI's mercy, right? That's gonna be the light in that dark day. So this is why you have to build yourself up in the faith continuously. All right, so let's actually switch gears and go to 2nd Esdras. 2nd Esdras. Esdras talked about the day of the Lord too, as well. 2nd Esdras chapter 5, verse 8. All right, so it says, there shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be oft sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters, and salt water shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into his secret chamber. All right. It says, and shall be salt of many. I'm gonna read it again. It says, and salt water shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into his secret chamber, and shall be brought salt of many, and yet not be found. Then shall unrighteousness and incontinency be multiplied upon the earth. All right, so this perfectly illustrates that darkening and doom and gloom of sun, moon, and stars. It's a reason why there's a term called dim-witted. Pursuing the verse 9, if wit hides itself, that means wisdom and understanding will go dark, making one dim-witted, confounded into obscurity in a dark day where the people have no self-restraint, right? The love of many waxing cold, and they gonna do whatever they gotta do to survive. So it's gonna be screams, the smell of death. You got wild, hungry, feral animals, full-on debauchery, plagues of evil like in Egypt. It's gonna be hell on earth, all right? So we know the Lord deals with the light and the dark, and he's going to send all of these plagues upon our earth, right? Shall there be evil in a city and the Lord have not done it? All right. And I just want to briefly go to Wisdom of Solomon 17. Yeah, this goes into like the plagues and the judgments, right, of the Lord, okay, that cannot be really expressed, right? All right, so I'm gonna just kind of read a few here and there, and you can really check it out yourself. Hold on, let me read. Matter of fact, I want to read. I start at 2. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start at 1. It says, "For great are your judgments, and cannot be expressed. Therefore, unnurtured souls have erred. For when unrighteous men thought to oppress the holy nation, they being shut up in their houses, the prisoners of darkness, and fettered with the bounds of a long night, lay there exiled from the eternal providence." It says, "For while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions." All right. So think about the day of the Lord in a sense of the darkness and the judgments of the Lord. So in this sense, it's talking about being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions. All right. So this is pretty much giving an idea of how the day of the Lord can be imagined. All right. It says, for neither might the corner that held them keep them from fear, but noises as of waters falling down sounded about them, and sad visions appeared unto them with heavy countenances. No power of the fire might give them light, neither could the bright flames of the stars endure to lighten that horrible night. Right? So again, symbolizing that the sun, moon, and stars give a light, and that symbolizing that darkness, being in darkness, is associated with hopelessness and despair. All right. It says, only there appeared unto them a fire kindled of itself, very dreadful, for being much terrified. They thought the things which they saw to be worse than the sight they saw not. It says, as for the illusions of art magic, they were put down, and their vaunting in wisdom was reproved with disgrace. And this verse reminds me of, the elite being wearied in the multitude of their counsels, and their prognosticators and their sorceries not being able to do what they always done, and basically their light is being put out. Their counsel, their wisdom and knowledge is being darkened, right? So no longer their sorceries is not working anymore. They're hopeless, right? This is for they that promised to drive away terrors and troubles from a sick soul were sick themselves of fear, worthy to be laughed at. For though no terrible thing did fear them, yet being scared with beasts that passed by and hissings of serpents, they died for fear, denying that they saw the air which could of no side be avoided. All right, so it's going to be so dark that even the sound of animals and beasts is killing these people. It says, for wickedness condemned by her own witness is very timorous, and being pressed with conscience always forecasteth grievous things. All right. So wickedness condemned by her own witness, right? Let's actually read that in the GNT. Wickedness is cowardly in itself and stands self-condemned. Someone with a guilty conscience will always imagine things to be worse than they really are. So this is a type of psychological madness, right, that people are going to go through on a day of darkness. It's going to be very deep, to the point where people are going to go crazy, right? They're going to be they're going to be at their wits' end, okay? So that's what the day of darkness is attributed to, is people being at their wits' end, not having any hope, right? But if you continuously build your faith, because everybody got to go through this tribulation. Eventually, when it comes, everybody, even the men of the Lord, they have to go through it too, But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to stop right there. Lord willing, you was edified. Call HALALYAM la YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, meaning all praises to YAHAWAH BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. Shalom.